Hi there, good afternoon. Thank you for logging on to my fitness blog. My name is Nazim Dolly, fitness author of the fitness ebook Rip Dad, Fat Dad, ETA certified personal fitness trainer with the Exercise Teachers Academy, as well as Merit Fitness Scholarship Award recipient from the Sports Science Institute of South Africa. So over the last few blogs I've spoken about mindset quite extensively. I've also, in the most recent video blog, I've spoken about the various reasons people are always finding ways and means to not work out when in fact they should be. It's for their own good health. And then most importantly, I've started touching on reasons as to why people are not attaining their fitness goals. Now, it's a process of elimination in a sense that if you know what is not working, you are in a better position to start fixing it. Now, you cannot change what you cannot acknowledge. Like Dr. Phil says, if you cannot acknowledge something, then how do you expect it to change? If you don't know what's wrong, how do you expect to fix it? And in the last video post, I spoke about people that do not have any belief, they've got no vision, they've got no game plan, and they do not write down their fitness goals. Now, if you do not have belief, if you do not have vision, if you don't have an action plan, you can kiss the results goodbye. But in this video blog, I want to discuss a couple of more reasons that adds on to the previous video blog. And the next one that I want to discuss, and again in no particular order, but it's important that you understand this, is not making the decision. Now, people like references to movies, they like references to real life, and if I can make a reference to the movie The Lord of the Rings, in the first installment there's a movie called The Fellowship of the Ring. You'll know that within that movie, The Fellowship of the Ring, there's a scene in which the council, they formed a council committee of human beings, there's elves, there's dwarves, etc. They have now decided that the ring needs to be destroyed. The ring belonging to the Dark Lord Sauron needs to be destroyed in the fire of Mount Doom, in the fire of Mount Mordor, where the ring was cast and made, and that's the only place in which it can be destroyed. And of course, the longer the linger on, the more bad luck happens to the people and the bearer of the ring, and they are now deliberating as to what they're going to do. Now, coming back to what I said, the decision, people are guilty of not making what I call in capital letters, the decision. Now, what happens here is that in this particular scene, where Gandalf is sitting down with a council of the most prominent people that's going to destroy the ring, they haven't yet made an action plan. They know that the ring needs to be destroyed, which ties into what I said in my previous blog. They've got the belief that they can do it. They've got the vision to destroy the ring, but they haven't yet come up with an action plan. And as they're deliberating as to who's going to do what and how they're going to do it, Frodo, who's the most likely of them all because of his size, his height, his abilities, he stands up and he says, "I'll take it, but I don't know the way." Okay, so Frodo didn't ask, how am I going to do it? Do I have an army? Do I have the capacity? Do I have the ability? No. He made the decision. He says, "I'll take the ring, but I don't know the way." Okay, can you see the importance of that? It's like a lot of people saying that I'd love to work out, but I don't have enough gym equipment, I don't have the right clothing, I don't stay too near to the gym, or hours are quite long. It's all kinds of excuses. And the truth be told, if you look for excuses, you're going to find all the reasons why it's not going to work. If you look and think in terms of solutions, you're going to find reasons that's going to help you move forward, and not just in fitness, and this applies to life in general. So coming back to Frodo, who was the smallest guy, he wasn't as tall as the human beings, he wasn't as skilled as the elves were in terms of archery, he wasn't as proud as the dwarves were in terms of their riches, but being the weakest and the least likely of them all to be able to carry out the mission, he says, he makes the decision before even knowing how or if he can do it, "I'll take the ring, but I don't know the way." And what then happens there is that the entire council stops, and every single person stands behind him. Be it Gandalf, he says, "I will help you," and Aragorn says that "you will have my sword," and the elf stands up, Legolas, he says, "and you will have my bow and arrow," and the dwarf stands up and he says, "you will have my axe." So can you see what happens when people make the decision? Once you make the decision, all the people and all the resources that are necessary to make it happen will avail itself to you. Frodo didn't know how he was going to do it. He didn't have the means, he didn't have the army, he didn't have the people with the skills or the talents or the abilities, the techniques to make it happen, but he did one thing right, which none of the other ones did. He made the decision, he was going to take the ring, he was going to destroy it, and then all the other people that made it possible in terms of the manpower, the skills, the labor, the weapons, the infantry, the artillery, all of those things came to him. Why? Because he made up his mind, he was sold on the idea that he was going to destroy the ring. Reason number two, not understanding the urgency. Okay, this is another reason why people do not achieve their fitness goals, and I suppose you can apply this to other areas in life as well. If there's any goal that you haven't achieved, you can apply this to that as well. It doesn't have to be specific to fitness only, but not understanding the urgency of the situation. To cite yet another quote or another scene from the same movie, from The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, when Frodo made the decision that he was going to take the ring, everybody got excited and everybody stood by him and said that they were gonna destroy the ring. But then Boromir, being a pessimist, he says, one does not simply walk into Mordor. The very air you breathe is toxic. Not with 1,000 men will you be able to carry out this feat. So can you see where Boromir is coming from? He's shutting his mind already. He hasn't even thought about it. Frodo just made the decision that he's going to do the greatest thing of all. He's made the decision that he's going to destroy the ring. But Boromir is saying, don't be stupid. Not even with 1,000 men are you able to carry this out. And we all know how the movie ends. It wasn't even 1,000 men. We probably were looking at about 10 or 12 people with some help from the elves, of course, and then later on the trees that helped them. But you know, the crux of the situation here is that Boromir is thinking as a pessimist. He's saying before he's even tried that not even with 1,000 men are you able to carry this out. So that's the first negative thing. He's thinking about the reasons why it's not going to work, and additionally he's blaming external circumstances, like the very air you breathe is toxic. So he's already saying it's a no-go. Okay, so in terms of Legolas, who came to save the day, he says to Boromir, did you not hear what was said? The ring must be destroyed. Okay, let me go back there, because this is so important. Legolas, the elf with the bow and arrow, after Boromir is saying that you cannot do this, the air is toxic, he's saying that not with 1,000 men are you able to carry out this feat. Legolas stands up and he defends Frodo's motivation. He says, did you not hear what was said? The ring must be destroyed. So in other words, Legolas is saying, I don't care how it gets done, I don't care what it costs, it's going to get done. That's the bottom line. It's got to get done. And that's how finally Frodo gets support. Now likewise, when you say to somebody, hey, you got to get in shape, you know, it's not just for health, but it's about self-esteem, it's about wellness, it's about being a better person. People are saying things like, oh no, but there's just no way I can do it. Not with 1,000 days or with 1,000 men's help will I be able to do it. When you say negative things like that, it's as if you are being the pessimistic Boromir, and you are saying to yourself, oh, I'll never be able to do that, or you know, the air is kind of polluted, so it doesn't help me running outside. Or you can say things like, I don't have the right equipment, or it's going to take me another 6 or 12 months. It's exactly the same thing. It's as if you are being Boromir, saying that not with 1,000 men will he ever be able to do it. You know, think like Legolas, who's saying, did you not hear what was said? You need to get in shape. You know, I don't care how it gets done, but you need to do it. And until you make that decision, you're not going to go anywhere. So whether you are ready or not, start. And this is a quote from Henry Ford. He says, whether you are ready or not, start, and better tools will avail itself as time goes on. Start wherever you are, make the decision that you're going to start getting in shape, and that's going to take you one step closer to the goal. And start thinking like Legolas, who says, did you not hear what was said? The ring must be destroyed. And not like Boromir that said, not with 1,000 men will he be able to carry out this feat. Okay, the third reason, and yet again in no particular order, misguided anger. Now, a lot of people, when they go to work, as I said in my very first video, they suffer from depression, they suffer from anxiety because they do not have an outlet through which they can vent their frustrations and their anger. And when you don't have an outlet, what happens is that all this anger, all this frustration starts bottling up inside of you, and you don't have any way of getting rid of all these toxic fumes inside of you. So you start becoming toxic as a person. And because most people dare not beat up their boss or cause a scene or run away from work, what do? They rather than working out and finding a release for their anger, their frustrations, and their anxiety, they start bullying their own spouse and kids. Why? Because a lot of people feel that they are defenseless, they won't fight back. So what happens here is that they start taking it out on their family. They start screaming and yelling at their wife. They start screaming and yelling at the kids for not cleaning their room. And what's happening as a result of that is that not only do they not get into shape, but it starts affecting their personal relationships, and this is where marriage starts breaking down. This is where kids start hating their parents, and it's a very vicious, non-ending cycle of them going to work, being unhappy, not getting an outlet for their frustrations, not being able to get rid of all the anger. They're coming home, they're not happy with their wife, they're not happy with their kids because everyone is screaming at each other, and there's just no joy. And as you can see, when you spiral down like that, it's not really a life worth having. Okay, so in terms of misguided anger, what you should do is you don't have to necessarily sign up with the gym, but you should certainly be able to exercise and release some steam by getting physically active, whether it's a Muay Thai class, whether it's a boxing, a kickboxing class, whether it's tennis, or whether it is playing rugby at a regular interval, whether it's going to the gym like I prefer doing. I prefer working out 6 days a week, 3 days weight training, 3 days high intensity cardio. The point is, whatever you do, it should be something that you enjoy doing, and this should be something that will help you release a lot of anger, a lot of stress. And just to give you a quote from the movie Lord of the Rings, there's episode 3 where Count Dooku, he's one of the Sith Lords, that says to Anakin Skywalker, you have hate, you have anger, but you don't use it. Okay, and he becomes so angry. You know, I'm talking about Anakin Skywalker as a soon-to-be Darth Vader. He becomes so angry, he channels all his anger, he channels all his hate, and he uses that anger, he uses that hate to defeat the Count. And prior to the fight, what does he say? My strength has doubled the last time I faced you. Okay, so that's just an example as to how you can use your anger, your hate and frustration, turn that negative energy into positive energy. If you're angry at work, don't take it out on your spouse and your family. Go to the gym, have a kick-ass workout, and you say to your frustrations, you motherfucker, I'm gonna kill you now. I'm gonna have the most awesome workout ever. I'm gonna feel so awesome afterwards, and I'm not gonna take it out on people that can't defend themselves. Okay, the fourth reason, lack of priorities. Now, a lot of people, they put going to work, paying the bills, pleasing their boss, kissing ass, doing all the shitty things that they shouldn't be giving as much priority to, and maybe if there's time left on the schedule, they put it as a maybe thing at the end of the list. Now, it's a very toxic thing to have, because if you don't give priority to yourself, who's going to do it? And it's really a lack of accountability, because at the end of the day, you are accountable to your boss. If you don't come to work, you'll get fired. But at the same time, no one is going to hold you accountable for not working out. So it's a lack of accountability and also a lack of priorities. Put it as priority number 1. My roommate and I, we wake up at 5 a.m, we go to the gym, we pump iron, we feel like kick-ass human beings, we feel superhuman. By the time we come to work, which is the number 2 priority, a number 1 priority is fitness, a number 2 priority is going about a daily work, and nothing else can touch us, okay? And then finally, I want to finish off this blog by saying that a non-supportive spouse. Now, if you married to the wrong person, then you're more fucked up than me, because I'm single right now and I'm saving a lot of money. But what I want to get at here is that as kids, we cannot choose our parents, but as parents, we can choose our partner. We can choose what our kids end up growing like. Now, if you are married to some lazy old bitch that doesn't work out, she smokes, she drinks, she eats all kinds of unhealthy food, and she doesn't support you going to the gym, guess what? It's going to affect you for the rest of your life. So choose carefully. You are not being superficial by insisting that you only settle down with somebody that works out regularly, that eats healthy, that looks after herself, because at the end of the day, these are lifestyle habits that says a lot about your character. Me personally, I've got a long checklist. She's got to be a workout or a fitness athlete. She's got to train 5 to 6 days a week. She's got to eat organic food. And if you want to call me superficial, so be it. I'm hoping to be married once in my life only, and out of 7 billion people, I feel I can be selected by who I want. But what I do know is that if I work out regularly, if I eat healthy, and if my partner does the same thing, those genetics will be inherited by my kids, and my kids will be good enough to play for the SA rugby team, and they will most likely become the captains of the future Springboks. So that's the kind of vision I want you to think about. I want to thank you for listening to my blog. Tune in to me next time on YouTube. Find me on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Viva die Bokke. If you're not speaking Afrikaans, just click on the link and send me your questions. Thanks for listening, and chat to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.